What if the most profound healing wasn't found in what we seek, but in what we've always been surrounded by? In the beginning was the Word, but before words came vibration, frequency, the divine resonance that still echoes through creation. The psalmist wrote, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. He determines the number of the stars. He gives to all of them their names." What if there's a number of frequency that binds our very souls to the rhythm of heaven? Since ancient times, humanity has sensed something sacred in certain sounds. The Levites tuned their lyres and harps with reverent precision. King David composed melodies that soothed tormented spirits. Solomon understood that a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. There is power in harmonious expression. Today, we find ourselves in a world of discord. Our devices ping at 440 Hz, the street-anded tuning of modern music since the early 1900s. Yet for thousands of years before this industrial standard, musicians across cultures tuned their instruments to 432 Za frequency that mathematically aligns with the vibrations of nature, of water, of the cosmos itself. Consider Moses, who spent 40 years in desert silence before encountering God in the whispered resonance of a burning bush. Consider Elijah, who found the Lord not in earthquake, wind, or fire, but in a still, small voice, a gentle vibration that spoke directly to his soul. Are we missing the healing resonance God wove into creation? Have we fallen out of tune with heaven's frequency? Throughout Scripture, we see God working through numerical patterns: 7 days of creation, 40 days of flood, 12 tribes, 12 apostles. Revelation speaks of measurements in heaven, dimensions that reflect divine order. This mathematical precision extends to sound itself. When we vibrate a string or column of air at 432 Hz, something remarkable happens. The resonance creates perfect mathematical ratios that mirror patterns found throughout nature. The ratio between Earth's precession and the speed of light, the spiral patterns of galaxies and sunflowers alike, the very proportions of the human body what Fibonacci discovered and Da Vinci illustrated. Ancient instruments from Egyptian to Greek, from Hebrew to Indian traditions were tuned close to this frequency. The Sanskrit Aum, chanted for millennia, resonates at approximately 432 Hz. Could it be that across cultures and time, humanity instinctively recognized this divine tuning? In Ezekiel's vision, he describes the movement of God's throne with wheels within wheels complex, mathematical, harmonious. John's revelation speaks of a new song sung in heaven. What if the very fabric of creation, the mathematics of the universe, carries a frequency of restoration? Scientists have observed that 432 Hz affects water differently than other frequencies. Water, the element God used in creation, in baptism, in renewal, responds by forming more ordered crystalline patterns when exposed to this frequency. Our bodies, which are mostly water, respond similarly. Pause for contemplation with gentle 432 Hz tones. But here's the question that changes everything. What if this frequency isn't just pleasing but purposeful? What if 432 Hz is not just mathematically significant, but spiritually resonant? Jesus often withdrew to quiet places to pray. In those moments of perfect communion with the Father, what divine frequencies aligned within his perfect humanity? When he commanded storms to be still, when he spoke healing to broken bodies, what resonance carried his words? In 1 Kings 19, after earthquake, wind and fire passed by Elijah's cave, God spoke in a still small voice, literally translated as a sound of gentle silence. In that perfect frequency, Elijah recognized the presence of God. Consider this. In Romans 8, Paul writes that creation groans awaiting redemption. What if part of that groaning is dissonance creation longing to return to the perfect frequency of Eden? When David played his harp to soothe Saul's tormented spirit, he wasn't just creating pleasant background music, he was realigning Saul's being with divine harmony. The vibrations of those strings likely tuned to ancient standards, resembling 432, had physically altered the environment within Saul's body, mind, and spirit. The human heart, when healthy, beats in patterns that mathematically relate to 432 Hz. Our very pulse can synchronize with this frequency. When Jesus said, "My peace I give to you, not as the world gives," perhaps he offered not just an emotional state, but a physical realignment with divine order. When we immerse ourselves in 432 Hz sound, we're not just enjoying aesthetics. We're potentially allowing our physical bodies to resonate with the mathematics of creation, the same patterns that cause planets to orbit, flowers to spiral, and light to scatter in perfect symmetry. Psalm 46 instructs us to be still and know that I am God. In Hebrew, be still literally means let go, release. Perhaps in releasing ourselves to resonate with divine frequency, we discover a knowing beyond thought or recognition in our very cells. The prophet Isaiah wrote, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Perfect peace is halamis, not just absence of conflict, but presence of wholeness, of harmony. As you listen to these 432 Hz tones, allow your body to remember. Like water, returning to its crystalline structure, like creation releasing its groan, may your being align with divine resonance. For those who have ears to hear, sound becomes more than sensation, it becomes revelation. In a world of noise, of competing frequencies, of constant discord, perhaps healing begins with simply tuning in to what has always been there, the mathematical poetry of God's design. Let this ancient frequency 432 Hz not be something new you seek, but something timeless you remember. For as Augustine wrote, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." If this message resonated within your spirit, join us at Sacred Horizon, where every frequency leads us closer to God.